No.
I promised.
Hi, everybody.
Would you like to start off by introducing yourself so everyone knows who everyone is?
I'm Reese Johansson. I'm the Executive Director of Artist Inc. and the Artistic Director of the Collective. We're from New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Do we have English-speaking and French people, or I'm just curious as to... English.
We've got a couple of French.
Okay, great. Come sit up front, you French cashiers.
Those French are so discreet, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's me.
Hi, my name is Dana Reed, and I live in New Orleans with Reese. I've been working with her for...
Not in the same house.
No, not in the same house. We have our own homes. I've been working with her this year, and I'm a dancer. I do some of the choreography, and I really enjoy working with her because she really takes me out of my element and makes me speak. This is new for me, so it's been a really fun process for me.
My name is Elizabeth Watlet. I live in Paris, but I'm originally from the US. And much like Dana, I like that Reese kind of took me out of my element. I've never danced before, so that aspect was fun. And yeah, I met Reese a few years ago in New Orleans and thought she was just a cool gal, so I wanted to stay in touch, and I'm glad that she's here and that we were able to collaborate. Yeah, thank you for being here.
And okay, I speak French. Je m'appelle Anne-Sophie Arnaud et je viens de France. Je rejoins Reese sur ce projet par curiosité et envie. Et je suis ravie d'avoir partagé ce moment avec eux. Avec vous aussi. Merci.
My name is Brian. Live in New Orleans. I've been playing with Reese for a little while now.
A couple years?
Yeah, a couple of years maybe. In various projects, playing different instruments. But this is the first time we've taken it on the road.
Well, I've got a question for you to start with, which is how do you... This is usually a sort of street performance, or a lot of the time it's in festivals, isn't it?
Well, actually, we have not performed very much in the street. I'm working on doing street performance. So usually what we do is in a theater setting, but we work in our space is a very raw warehouse space. So we have kind of a sprawling space to play with. So the stages that we work with are not a typical stage. We might have a performance corner over there elevated on some platform, and we had a lift that we dropped down, and we have various elements that we can work with. So we have a big open space that we perform in different corners of, but it is more of a theater setting. We are looking to perform more in the street though, which tomorrow we will be in front of Shakespeare and Company for the first time performing outside at 5 o'clock. So if you want to see it again or spread the word about it.
Have you checked the weather?
Oh no.
I'm hoping it's not going to rain. If it's
hey,
we have
umbrellas.
True. We're back.
We have enough for the audience too.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments about the work that they've seen, or any feedback to give to the artists?
Yes, I noticed at the very beginning the sort of grid movements. Is that based on the name's got right on my head?
Viewpoints.
Viewpoints. Thank you. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I really like to work with viewpoints. 6 viewpoints, for anyone that may not know about it. It was created by a woman named Mary Overly, who teaches at NYU right now. And I was fortunate enough to take a workshop with her in San Francisco, as well as some other viewpoints workshops last year. And I got very interested in the process of creating ensemble theater using this as a base for rehearsals. And part of the idea is that you get your company together and you move in the room and you stay connected to each other spatially and energy-wise, so that there's kind of an organic and Zen-like composition of performance that starts to unfold. And one of the techniques is to walk in a grid and to just go for it. And somehow nobody collides. I don't know how that happens, but there is some sort of like buzz that starts to happen when everybody's really connected and doing it.
As a sort of side note / plug, one of the workshops that BAW is offering this summer is based around viewpoints. So what you've just seen, if you want to study it for 5 nights in a row, call me.
I'm actually going to try to take that workshop.
Great.
Yeah, I love viewpoints.
I was also reading when I was reading about the company that you take, when you move with the show, you incorporate artists from wherever you're going to.
Yes, that is the premise behind UNROUTE. Is the idea is that it's en route, you know, we're going on the road, but we're also going to unroot, as in racine, you know, unroot you from your element, or your space, or your comfort zone, and mix you with artists that you may not have opportunity normally to play with, and also put you in a situation that you may not normally have the opportunity to perform in. And for me, that's something that's very interesting to me, to really get up and go and throw myself into something new and with new people. And I feel like every time I meet a new person that I'm able to work with, I learn from them. And I hope that they learn from the experience as well. And I love for everybody to be a little off balance, you know, so that it's like, okay, this doesn't really feel like what I normally do, but hey, roller coaster, you know, let's go. So I like that. But so I guess my question, I do have a question for the company, and that I'm curious about, and you know, with the idea of UNROUTE being a show that we tour regularly is the goal, where we would take a contemporary cabaret, which is what I call this, performance to another location, as we did in France. This is the first time we've actually gotten up and done it. We've done it in New Orleans where we've invited other performers in, but we've never had a chance to get up and go someplace else. So as an experience for you guys, we have, you know, us 3 coming and you 2 who are here and just kind of thrown in. I mean, honestly, we had 1 day of rehearsal. 1 day. It was a long day, but 1 day of rehearsal, and then we had, you know, a couple of little mini rehearsals in the space. But so it was pretty astounding what these 2 people learned in 3 days of putting it together. So my question to you guys is there anything stick out for you that's poignant as to what worked and what really didn't work? Tu comprends?
Tu parles vite quand même.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a very liberating experience because it kind of takes the pressure off, because you can be like, well, I only had a couple days to work on it, which is almost never the case in performance. I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, or we put a lot of pressure on each other, and it was just, I don't know, that there wasn't that element, and I found it really great. So it was more of a, it was fun.
Moi, je me pose la question de... Enfin, je me dis que ça pourrait être intéressant peut-être de poser la question de l'intimité en fonction des endroits où tu te trouves, où tu joues. Et tu vois, tu comprends?
Yeah, she thinks it would be interesting to maybe bring up the question of, or a conversation about intimacy wherever you are, because maybe...
Parce que c'est différent dans les pays.
That's a good idea.
Et ça peut peut-être nourrir aussi le projet et par rapport aux cultures.
I think that is interesting.
That is a good idea. It's really. Did everybody understand what she was saying? That because we once did one that was about abstract urbanism, whatever that meant. I don't know. And then last year we had survival, and so this year we're working on intimacy. So we have all the different scenes that we put together with things, you know, based on the idea of exploring what intimacy, putting ourselves in situations that were intimate, which is why I put the chairs like that for you guys also. So Anne-Sophie was suggesting, which is I think is a great idea, to pose that question to the performers, les artistes, to the performers in the different places where we go, to give us ideas of, you know, intimacy for them, because the different cultures have different ideas of what's intimate, and that's a very good idea.
And based on the question of working with, since I work with Reese in New Orleans, I actually do my parts with other performers as we rehearse them, and then we come in and we brought in new people. And for me, it was a very interesting process, because here I am doing the same scene with the same lines, but it changes depending on the person that I'm with, for me as well as the other person. So that's been a really interesting process, and to play different parts because other people are better fit for a different part, so I may be thrown into a new part, and then
like, oh, you're not going to be that person
anymore. You're going to be this person. So it's always an evolving show, so it's never really the same, which has been really fun, I think, for me to come here, because it was a very different experience than what we've been rehearsing in New Orleans, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when we go back to New Orleans with this material and how it's even going to evolve more. And then I was also saying to Elizabeth today, I mean, I just met Elizabeth on Monday evening, jet lagged and all, and it's really interesting because the next day we rehearsed, and it was like there was no barriers. I mean, we have a very intimate duet that we're doing, and there was like no awkwardness. There were like two professional performers who just jumped right into their character, and you know, not everyone may be like that. Yeah. So it was an interesting way to, like, wow, I feel like we know each other so well, even though I've only known you for 3 days.
Yeah. I did find the show very, very fluid in the way that, for example, you're principally a dancer, and you're principally an actress, and you're principally a dancer and a musician, but at the same time, you did a bit of acting, for example, Brian, with Anne-Sophie. And Elizabeth, you were saying you've danced for, you know, you're not really a dancer, but you've been doing that, and you've been acting. And I liked the way that it was, you know, it really mixed together very well. And I particularly liked the scene with Brian and Anne-Sophie, because there's one point when you were playing, but it sounded like you were conversing almost, using your music, which was good, I thought. So yeah, great.
I would argue that idea could be applied really to the whole show. I mean, there was definitely the almost a give and take between the guitar and whatever was happening, whether it was dance or, you know, even if it was underscoring dialogue. I mean, there was definite relationship between the music and everything else that was happening. Really.
So you're
really
saying
great.
that you think that we could go further with the dialogue between the music and the performance?
Oh, sure. Well, yeah. I mean, you're already at a great, you know, noticeable and understandable level. But yeah, if you want to go farther with it, sure, I'd love to see that.
Would you feel like you would like to see Brian, anybody, would you feel like you would like to see Brian more on stage? Or do you find that he's visible enough?
On stage.
Huh?
He was on stage.
Yeah, that's true. But there are some points, like the umbrella scene, there was a question I kind of like for him to be a presence, but then we were wondering if he should be off stage during the umbrellas or during the grid, what I call the grid. Any opinion about that?
Well, I thought the mix was right, but that, you know, I'm a theater person, so I mean, is it fair to ask somebody who works in theater? You know?
It is fair. Yeah, it's totally fair.
Yeah. Not just your normal audience member, but I thought the mix was good.
Okay.
I think it's good, yeah. Brian was present all the time, and then sometimes came in and sometimes went a bit more to the background, and yeah, I think it's good.
I never felt that he was an overbearing presence.
Okay.
That present.
Does anybody have any question? Like, was there anything not clear? I mean, we really do want some feedback. You know, we're not the ones that are going, okay, you know, happy with that. And was there anything that you felt just was like, that went on too long, or that didn't make sense, or what were you doing there?
I would say if you'd spent more time on it, I mean, as again, a theater person, I mean, if you're going to take this on the road, you'd obviously have more time to work on costumes. Yeah.
Costumes?
You know.
Okay, great.
Also, I just passed by, there's a big haute couture, you know.
Oh. Would you like to write me a grant for that? That would be awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you very, very much for coming all this way and
you.
putting on a fantastic show.
Thank you so
Delighted to have
much.
you. There's going to be an improvised bar in the corner for you to have a bit of wine, and feel free to ask any more questions.
Yeah, if you're too timid to ask questions like this, you know, grab me or grab one of us. I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Can we drink now?